What's going on? Welcome back to Mo Air Podcast. Today's guest comes from Colorado. His name is Carlos, but you guys might know him from his online name as the Annoying Pilot Vlogger. He's a private pilot with dreams of going commercial at some point and is currently working on his instrument rating. All right, Carlos, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi guys, my name is Carlos and I live in Littleton, Colorado. Like our host here just mentioned, I am a private pilot working on my instrument rating right now. My dream is to fly commercial eventually. Airlines or Part 91 would be awesome. What I enjoy doing right now is puppy rescue missions with pilots and paws. They're a great organization, and I enjoy flying to mostly Texas. So I might fly to some other places, but what I've been doing lately with them is flying to Texas, getting dogs, and transporting them to safety here in Colorado. I've pretty much been into aviation my entire life. I've always thought it was cool. When I was a little boy, my family would travel. I had the privilege of being able to travel and experience other places. And I remember always on those trips just being fascinated by the planes and everything. And I always wanted to go up and see the cockpit, all that stuff.
That's awesome.
It was
Yeah.
cool. I did when I was, I don't know, 10, my uncle took me on a biplane ride and it was
Oh,
so
wow.
cool.
Would you say that
And
that was your first time actually being in general aviation was on the biplane?
yes, yeah, for
Did
sure.
that
That was my first taste of like a propeller plane. Yeah.
Awesome. Did that get you hooked on like general aviation? You're like, that's what I want to do now? Or were you already like that from your flights on the commercial airlines?
Well, I think I was like that deep down inside. But kind of later in adult, life kind of happened. I ended up working in plumbing in my 20s, and then actually through plumbing, I found out that a plumber friend of mine that owns actually the guy I work for now at Bravo Initiative LLC had an airplane. So he was just kind of an acquaintance when I was a plumber for a different company. And I don't know what happened, but I was just like, man, maybe I should pursue. Like I'm getting like in my upper 20s. It's kind of like now or never kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
So I called him and I said, hey, I heard a rumor about you. And he said, well, what's that? I said, I heard you're a pilot and you've got your own Cessna. He said, that ain't no rumor. And it turns out now that I like know a little bit about airplanes, he has like the coolest 182 you can imagine. Just an immaculate, beautiful 182, 300 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
So he kind of got me into it a little bit back in like 22. I think I flew like 12 to 20 hours with him, something like that. And
That's
just
cool.
really enjoyed myself. Anyways, fast forward a couple years later, my mom actually got engaged to a retired Delta pilot, and he
Oh,
had a Cessna 310. And so that was like the aha moment, was the first time flying in a twin and feeling what that bigger, heavier 310 felt like compared.
yeah.
I mean, I loved the 182, but feeling that bigger plane just kind of made me go like, wow, I want to fly bigger airplanes. Like I
Right.
want to pursue this. I want to fly. I can't imagine like a King Air or something like that.
Yeah.
And kind of the only way to realistically make that happen is pursue it as a career. So
Yeah.
I hit
That
the
makes
books. This
sense.
was last summer, and I hit the books, and I got my private in March. And yeah, been an absolute love affair.
Time, time, time out here. Wait a second. Did you just say all of that happened within the last year?
For me getting my private license.
Yeah, like you went on the flight in the 310
Yep.
and then you just went and started and you got your private license within the last year.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
last
wow.
July. Last July 5th, I flew in the 310, and I said, you know what,
Oh,
I'm gonna
wow.
go for it. I
So
want to be
this
a
was like
pilot.
a recent choice for you to hit the books and try to make this work.
Yeah, I kind of have a reputation for being that way. Making just following my heart. But
That's not
yeah,
a bad
that
reputation to have, though.
no, yeah,
Yeah,
always
right.
for positive changes. I think at least if you ask me.
That's awesome, man.
And now I just am more in love with it than I was in the first place. I just love it. I work Monday through Thursday, and I'm so grateful. I have a boss that supports my dream and gives me the time off I need when I need it. Invites me to go flying. I got to fly to Virginia with him recently, and just so cool to be surrounded in aviation. But yeah, I just look at the sky, and I can't wait till Friday through Sunday every week to fly. I mean,
That's
just
awesome,
love it.
man.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing that you have those people surrounding you for aviation. A lot of people don't have that support structure in aviation, but if you can find it like you did, aviation's a super inviting community and people will help you out like your boss does and whoever else you've flown with the 182, with the Cessna 310. I mean, all those people, they're everywhere and it doesn't matter if you're related to them or not. They're Most people will help you out. That's just a cool thing. I'm glad you found that.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. So you did mention that you were flying rescue dogs, and you go down to Texas a lot. What kind of aircraft do you fly when you do that?
I like to fly the Piper Archer. And if I can't get my hands on a Piper Archer, my second favorite would be the Warrior. So
Oh,
I
nice.
like Piper products, but I
Yeah.
am checked out on the 172s as
Oh,
well.
nice.
So if I
So,
can't get an Archer or a Warrior, I'll take a Skyhawk.
there you go. So you're a low wing guy. You like
I
the
like the low wing.
there you go. Okay. It's a little different. I'm a high wing guy. Just I've trained a lot in the high wing. I've only flown a couple low wings, and they flare different. And I just like being able to look down. And I feel like sometimes with the low wing, you kind of block yourself a little bit.
Sure, sure, I could see that for
Yeah.
sure. I will say I like the windows on Cessnas better. It's cool. You can stick your arm out there when
Right.
you're
Yeah.
flying. That's awesome.
That's true. You can't open the windows while you're flying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How long have you been doing these rescue flights?
Not long. I want to say like the last 3 months or so. So I've only done three of them. So not a super long time. I love doing it. I want to keep doing more.
That's really
And
cool.
it's kind of just like it's like another addiction that I got to figure out how to feed because it's so much fun and it feels so good when you're handing the dogs off to safety. It
Yeah,
feels really good.
that's awesome. So, how did you learn about doing that in the first place?
My stepdad, my retired stepdad, actually does that, or my mom's fiance rather. He does he does those, so he got me into that.
That's really cool, man. I didn't even
He
know that
does a
was a
whole
thing.
bunch. Yeah,
He
yeah,
does it.
he does a whole bunch in his 310.
That's awesome. So, whenever you do this kind of thing, you said you fly down to Texas a lot, which, coming out of Colorado, I don't know what part of Colorado you're at, with you're in the mountainous area or if you're down in the more flatter area.
Yeah, the flatter area, Broomfield.
Okay.
It's Rocky Mountain Metropolitan Airport. I believe it's one of the busiest airports in Colorado, like maybe the second busiest or something like that.
Okay.
Um, but it's pretty high up in elevation, but it's a flat area. I think it's like 5,500 feet high or something like that.
Well, that's not terrible, but
No, no.
you're used to talking to a tower then, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah, it's a delta.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, did you find that hard when you were doing your training to like your first couple times talking to the tower, or was it just second nature because you've heard it so much?
I was terrible at talking to air traffic control. I'm like an outgoing guy, so it's surprising, but I was so nervous.
Yeah.
My funniest ATC screw up was my first night cross country with my first instructor. So I think it was also my first time doing flight following. So
Oh, nice.
he's like telling me, you kind of like look at him and he's like, say this, and you say it,
Yeah.
So like say,
Yeah.
just push the button and just say, your tail number 41498, with a request. It's like, okay, 41498 with the request. They call back 41498, say request. And I look at my instructor. He goes, say request. So I go, 41498, say request.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just quiet for a second, and then the guy goes, actually, 41498, this is where you say your request. There's like laughter in the background.
That's awesome. Well, there's two ways you could have went with that. You could have like been super embarrassed, and the rest of your flight was crap, or you could have just been like, "Well, there's nowhere to go but up from here, so let's make it
Oh,
better."
I died laughing. Yeah, my instructor just goes, "That's hilarious," and I
Yeah,
just died laughing
that
like
is awesome.
afterwards. It's pretty funny.
So I did all my flight training in a non-towered airport. I mean, we're close to Kansas City, but we didn't go in there but a couple of times. And so my first time talking to a tower was when I flew into Jeff City because it's a class Delta instead of the class Bravo. And I was scared. I was so scared because I'd never talked to a tower before.
Sure.
And like you, I was just staring at him like, what do I say? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. I can fly this thing, but I don't know what to say. But now getting used to it, I kind of like talking to the tower because they tell you exactly what you're supposed to do. Do
Oh,
you
they're rock stars. Yeah,
do you like that now that you're used to it?
I love it. Yeah, I love it. I love flight following. I feel weird whenever I like fly do a cross country with an instructor and he like we're talking to each other too much. We don't do it. I love flight following
Yeah.
and talking to them.
Yeah, we've always
They're
done. Oh, go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say they're rock stars. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh no, you're good, man. We've always done flight following just because we're in a busy area and we fly within a MOA, a military operations area over by Whiteman. So we always wanted a flight following, but we just didn't talk to them other than that. We just, mule flight, whatever request, and they're like, say your request. You say request VFR flight following in the whatever area you're going to be in, and that was it. So that was the only time you ever really talked to tower. But yeah, it was weird actually going to a towered airport for the first time.
Yeah, for sure. I bet.
So do you find it weird flying into different geographical locations? So like you're from the mountainous Colorado area, and then you go down to Texas where it's more plains and flat and dry and hot. Do you have
No,
any like difference there? Like
no. I really enjoy it. I feel like I learned something on every flight. And kind of what you said at the beginning about just like the aviation community, it's just awesome to go and usually people greet you with a smile and you get to talk to different folks at different airports and ask each other where you flew in from and the planes and all that stuff. So, no, not weird at all. I find it extremely enjoyable for
yeah.
sure. That's kind of what draws me to Part 91 actually is I've actually gotten to do a lot of cross country flying. When a month after I got my private, my wife's basic training graduation came, and that was in Missouri.
Oh,
So I
nice.
actually flew myself to Fort Leonard Wood, not only a Delta but a military base.
Yeah,
It was like 7 hours each direction,
that's really
and
cool.
so I got to do a bunch of cross country flying, and uh, yeah, no, I love it.
That's really cool. You got to fly into Fort Leonard Wood over by Rolla area to for your wife's graduation. That's
Super cool.
yeah,
And yeah, that's kind of why now I say I'm kind of hoping to end up in like Part 91. You know, if my journey takes me to the airlines, I'll be extremely grateful. Of course, I know probably pay wise, it's probably the best thing that could happen is ending up at the airlines, and who doesn't want to do well financially? Um, but Part 91, I know that you can also do really well, and it kind of see from pilots I've talked to, the Part 91 is sort of like general aviation, where you get to go to a lot of these cool FBOs that have so much personality. You fly to like the Texas FBO, and there's like cow couches and stuff like that. You
yeah,
know, you fly to like Minnesota and the FBOs are like lake themed and have like walleye everywhere and stuff like that. They have personality and it's just so much fun to fly to these little FBOs. So it's kind of what like draws me towards that Part 91 lifestyle is how fun the cross countries are in general aviation.
yeah. That's cool. So then you get to enjoy that you're flying rather than just fly this leg to this leg to this leg in all in the international type airports or the big
Right.
hubs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
they're all pretty similar. In my experience, all the like Bravo airports are pretty similar. You know, they're shopping malls.
Right. Yeah.
There's the fatigue too thing. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool to like land at an FBO, grab a courtesy card, head to the hotel versus like landing at a Bravo you've never been to. Walk
Right.
30 minutes through the airport, get on a train,
Yep.
go the whole thing with Bravos.
Right. And from everybody that I've talked to, it seems like the Part 91 leads more to the the quality of life is better. So you're not
Exactly.
always strung out flying these legs, and you actually get paid basically the whole time you're on duty, even if you're not flying. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a couple buddies that fly corporate aviation. Like if they go somewhere and they're staying, the entire time they're on, they're getting paid.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty fun and cool planes too.
Oh
It'd be
yeah,
cool to fly like a Citation or a King Air or a Pilatus. Pretty
yeah.
cool.
You get it. All of the business jets are the cool ones, man. You got the
Oh yeah.
Citations, the PC-24s, the Hawkers. I mean, there's just so many different, really cool looking corporate jets that you won't get in the airlines. They're all the same. You either get Airbus or Boeing.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure it's fun to be in the front of those big things and fly them. I'm sure it's really cool, but I think like PC-12s are so pretty. I don't know.
Yeah, those are awesome. So, do you want to stay more towards the turboprop, or do you want to move more towards the jets?
Well, I'm young in my aviation journey. I'm young and inexperienced. I'm not actually young, but in my aviation journey, it's kind of the beginning. And right now, the PC-12s and the King Airs, I'm just kind of starry eyed over
Yeah,
them. I guess I love flying the Archer so much, and I see like the PC-12, and it just looks like an Archer on steroids. All
right.
that power and space and technology.
I know the Highway Patrol here in Missouri, they have a Kodiak. Have you seen any of those?
Oh, those are really cool.
Those are insane, man. So,
Super cool.
yeah, they're great airplanes. I'm not sure what they do with that. I know it's a transport plane for some of the higher ups and like the Missouri legislators, I guess. But that would be an awesome plane to get into.
Yeah, but we'll see. I'm open minded.
And that's the best way to do it because you never know what's going to jump out and be offered to you, down your career path.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, anybody that wants to pay me money to fly after I get my commercial ratings, I will be very excited. Once I can go to work every day and fly, I'll be super grateful
Yeah, that's awesome.
just to be able to fly every day.
So, since you're still learning about the different types of commercial aviation that you can get into, I was listening to Pilot to Pilot podcast the other day. It's another podcast about aviation that I listen to. Uh, this guy was talking to a Canadian pilot who does contract flying, and basically he's flying other people's aircraft. So people own these aircraft, and they pay him to pilot it, and then he goes, flies them to where they're going, stays while they're there, and then flies them back. And he has like regular guys that he flies once a month, and then he has people that just come up and pay him to like contract out with him. So that could be something that you look into eventually as well. It sounds pretty cool.
That sounds super cool.
Yeah. So if you
Yeah.
want to look that podcast up, it's Pilot to Pilot, and then Evan something. I can't remember the guy's last name.
Okay. All right. I'll have to check it out
Yeah,
for
it's pretty
sure.
cool. Yeah.
Sweet.
You're still young in your aviation career. It sounds like you've had a lot of aviation experiences that most people don't get, even with 10 to 15 years of flying, though. So that's really cool. What is one thing that you would say kind of tripped you up in your pilot training?
Well, the books, I could be better about hitting the books. I've been pretty fortunate though. I did well on both my writtens I've taken so far, and my check ride went really, really well.
Awesome.
Um, but I mean, I could be more studious for sure. My wife is a person that she can bury her face in a book and study from sun up to sundown, and I'm definitely not that way. So, there's that.
Right?
But man, I don't want to jinx myself, but yeah, really, I stumbled into the perfect flight school. I met this guy, and he got me into flying, and he had a job for me when I needed a job that made sense. I mean, it's just kind of like it has worked out for it. My philosophy is to just be grateful and be disciplined. Somewhat. Could always be more disciplined, but it's kind of my philosophy, and it seems to have worked out for me.
Sounds like you got some of your philosophy from jujitsu. I see that you're a jujitsu guy. So
How do you see that?
well, it's online.
Oh, right,
Everything
right,
that's
right.
online is everybody can see it, man.
I
So
thought I just looked badass or something.
that too, yeah. You look like a jujitsu guy, yeah. But
For
no,
sure.
there's a lot of things in jujitsu that you can bring into your personal life, and do you bring any of that to the cockpit with you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I do say that because it is challenging to fly. And I do say that and think that often like, man, thank goodness I got into jujitsu first. Because
Yeah.
it is really overwhelming, especially like you were talking about the radios and stuff when you're like brand new and you're figuring out how to fly. You're
Yep.
making lots of mistakes and
Yep.
then you're nervous on the radio. It can be overwhelming, but it's like, no, it's, you know what? I've been here. I'm a white belt right now in this, and that's okay.
Right.
It's going to be okay. It's supposed to suck, you know?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what I was going to ask you. Has your jujitsu training helped out with the overwhelming or the stressful part of it by just thinking, okay,
Oh, yeah.
I've already thought 10 steps ahead because you have to do that in jujitsu as well. You plan ahead and then it's like chess in a way. So now you can be calm and you can just take care of one task at a time while making sure everything else is up to speed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just the being okay with adversity thing. Just being used to being in uncomfortable situations and coming out of them, you know? It's
Yeah.
yeah, martial arts is a vehicle for self-development and will improve everything else in your life. I think that's if there's one thing everybody that does jujitsu agrees on is that it makes the rest of your life easier to go and go up against absolute savages for fun,
Yeah.
you know, and experience extreme discomfort, you know. Then when you're stressed out, it seems like you're overwhelmed and there's a lot coming at you in the plane. It's like, you know, it's okay. At least I'm not under that 225-pound college wrestler from
Right.
yesterday, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That was
It's
worse than
okay.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, I survived that. So it's fine. No one's attacking me right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. So, what is one time that you can just look back on this one flight that you had every single time? It just puts you at ease and it just relights that fire for aviation for you.
Oh man, so many of them, but definitely the flight to go see my wife's basic training graduation. That was really special for me. It
That's
was
awesome.
I was just excited. New private pilot, favorite plane, booked for the for the week or whatever. The weather was questionable, so it was a thing like, all right, you know, if I might have to land and hitchhike and get to an enterprise and get there some other way. The weather was just good enough to get me there, and it stormed. I landed. I was nervous because I had no idea what would happen when I showed up at a military base. I went the night before. I left KBJC the night before because the weather changed. I was my plan originally was to leave in the morning, get there, spend the night, and then go to my wife's basic training graduation the next day. But the weather forecast changed, so the plan changed. I had to leave the night before, and the plane wasn't available till like 3 in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I was like, if I do that, then I might be okay. And I got to Lebanon the night before, and then slept in Lebanon. Woke up the next morning at like 7. I get there. I'm like nervous flying in there. I'm like, what are they gonna say? Are they gonna let me on this military base? I tried calling 1,000 times. They just don't answer. So I tried calling the front desk, the security, the FBO. I tried calling everybody. Nobody answered. So for months. And anyway, so I'm flying in. Yeah, they're just like peachy on the radio. Yeah, okay. It's 3-2 Fox, clear land on 1-5. Let us know when you're in the downwind, whatever.
Oh, wow.
Land. They're like, hey, are you familiar with the FBO? I'm like, no. They're like, okay, no problem. Turn right on Alpha. Go to the end. The FBO is right there, and the guy working there comes right up, friendlier than pie. He goes, how long you staying here? I'm like, I'm hoping I could stay for a few days. He's like, do you want a hangar? He's like, these hangars are all empty.
That's awesome.
Puts me in a hangar, and he's like, how are you gonna get to where you're going? I'll give you a ride. And he gives me a ride to the hotel. And it started to storm once it like the whole time was like maybe this weather is gonna get me. Made it there, and as I'm walking into the front desk, it starts to storm.
Man, so the whole time you're thinking, okay, where am I going to go if this weather comes at me? Like, where am I going to have to turn back and land at this airport? Do I have enough time to make it to
Yeah,
this airport?
yeah.
That's kind of a stressful flight, really.
It should have been. It should have been, but flight following those rock stars helped me out, and helped me get around the little bit of weather that there was. There was some thunderstorms when I was taking off from 9 Kilo 7, where I got fuel. There were some thunderstorms coming in. They helped me get around it, and the thunderstorms were a good distance to my left where I could see them, but just smooth skies.
That's awesome, man.
It was unbelievable. Everything just worked out because it had to, and
That
it
is
did.
that is so awesome. That's a good flight to remember.
It was so cool. I actually made a video, which probably is not the best, but there's if you want to check it out
I'm
on my
definitely gonna
YouTube
check it out. Yeah.
on my YouTube channel. It's like the second video I posted. It's like journey to visit my favorite soldier in Fort
Oh,
Leonard Wood
nice.
or something like that.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna check that out. Yeah. That's
not
really
very
cool.
not the most skilled video maker,
That's okay. Neither am I. I just started this a couple months ago, so
but it was a cool. I noticed a lot of military jets in your. Were you in the military also?
no, I was not. I was a law enforcement guy. I was a
Okay.
state trooper before I went to work for the government, which is where I work now.
Oh, thanks for your service as a trooper and
Thank you.
stuff. It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good time, but moved on to a better paying job, and now I'm trying to get back into aviation. So, like
Very
you,
cool.
I waited too long. I got a bachelor's degree right out of high school, went to college, got a bachelor's degree in aviation management, and then became a trooper and did that life. And now I'm trying to get back into aviation.
Very cool.
Yeah. One question that I ask everybody, and I'm sure if you've watched any of these videos, you've already heard this question, but what is one aircraft that you would buy if money was no factor? So, like, it didn't matter how much it cost, how much it was to upkeep, the hangar to have it, all of that didn't matter. You wanted to buy one airplane for personal use. What would it be and why?
I'd buy a Mooney. I don't know the models and stuff, but I'd buy a fast Mooney.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like I like to be different, I guess, and most people would get a Cirrus probably if money was no object for like single engine personal use, but like Moonies are super fast, and I just find them beautiful.
I love the Mooney
I
tail.
just think it's so pretty.
The plane looks fast when it's just sitting there.
Yeah,
Yeah. That is one airplane I've always wanted to fly is a Mooney. I just haven't had the chance to get in one yet.
that is my ingenious logic of why I would buy it is because it looks really cool to me.
Hey, you don't have to have a
Just
better reason. It's your reason. That's all that matters, man.
I've always just thought they were the prettiest airplanes.
Yeah. Right on, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and talking to me today and sharing your story. It sounds like you've had a lot of experiences in a short amount of time, and that's really cool. And I hope life just continues to work out for you. You have a great attitude. So I think that if you stick with it, you're going to do all right, man.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm grateful for you having me on. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, man. As always, guys, remember that success starts with a positive attitude. And if you want to go check out Carlos, all of his stuff online is the Annoying Pilot Vlogger with a V.
That's right.